My name's Olly and I am on Wedge Island in Tasmania in Australia in the southern hemisphere, quite far from you. But what I am doing here is I am studying the behaviour of two seabirds called short-tailed shearwaters and the little penguin like this guy. Now the reason why I'm studying them is that it's part of my PhD, so that's like pretty much the highest up degree you can get. And I came all the way to Australia in order to do it. And I live on this beautiful island for up to 5 weeks at a time. And across my whole degree, I'll live here for 6 months. Now, what I'm doing with the birds is I want to see how they eat. So these birds, they live all around us in this beautiful colony here, but they go to sea to find food. So what I do is I find the birds when they come back at night time to visit their chicks, and I put on a teeny tiny device called a biologger. I attach it to the back, ta-da! The bird goes to sea, the bird comes back, I take the tag back, and voila! We can see where the birds are eating, we can see not quite what they're eating, but we can work out like the sort of area that they're in and what's influencing it, and it's really exciting. Now, this is a form of science that you could give many different names to. You could call it biology or marine biology or ecology or marine ecology or zoology, but in essence I am a scientist studying birds. So how did I get here? Well, before my PhD I did a master's back in the UK. I was at the Imperial College of London, but it was a joint degree with the Natural History Museum of London. So I was based at the museum, and every day I got to walk past the Stegosaurus, the dinosaur skeleton, on my way to lectures, and I learned all things about taxonomy and biodiversity. Now, taxonomy is not, you might mistake it for doing your taxes, which it is not, or for taxidermy, aka stuffing dead animals for displays, which it is also not. It is actually the study of nomenclature, basically how we name things. So I'm a human, I'm a Homo sapien, and it's all about the evolutionary relationships between things. And as part of my master's, I went to Madagascar to study plovers, which is a teeny tiny shorebird. And it was really in Madagascar that I realized that I loved studying animals, and especially with regards to birds. So I went on to do my PhD after. But before the master's, in order to get into that, I had to do a bachelor's with honours, and I did that in zoology at the University of Manchester. And as part of my degree there, I got to go to Scotland and I got to go to South Africa to study animal behaviour, which is really great experiences, and I'm really grateful for the Uni of Manchester for being able to supply our students with that. But you might be wondering, but how do you get into a bachelor's to begin with? Well, at school, in secondary school, biology and chemistry and maths are really important if you want to go on to study zoology. But one thing I would say is that do not undervalue the importance of English, because even though you might think science is all numbers and calculations and experiments, we actually do a lot of writing, and English is a great tool. So if you love English, don't think that you have to abandon it to become a scientist. It is really useful to keep up. And in between my schooling and bachelor's and master's and PhD, the reason why I've been able to keep going, because I'll be honest, I sometimes struggle with exams. I study, but I still struggle. And one thing that has been helpful in keeping going and getting me into the degrees was the volunteer experiences I had. So I volunteered at a bird charity, and I did an internship at a local conservation management team, and I worked at a koala sanctuary. And those sort of experiences meant that I was able to continue to be a scientist, because it's really not just all about the academics and the grades, which are good, you should study. Don't say I'm not studying. Don't say that I'm saying that you shouldn't study. You should definitely study. But it's also what you do outside of school and what you do outside of your studies that is important. So if you like animals and you want to be a zoologist like me, work hard, volunteer hard, and basically just follow your passions, and you could end up on an uninhabited island randomly off the coast of Australia like me. Thanks!